youngster, there was no basic spell book to give a beginner witch like myself the clear and simple instructions that would have made magic a much less mysterious process.
Sony's take on Harry Potter may not feature the bespectacled wizard and his loyal friends, but it is set in the same universe and has one distinctive feature: new stories written by J.K. Rowling presented with the new type of peripheral, the Wonderbook. It isn't a new novel penned by the Potter scribe, but rather a 12-page prop with large augmented reality symbols in lieu of text.
First, let's make sure your wand is in fine shape.
Each game designed for the peripheral will interpret the augmented symbols in different ways as the camera tracks the image and slaps on some textures in an attempt to make it look like you're holding an ancient tome. In this case, the Wonderbook becomes a tome of spells from the Hogwarts library, and your PlayStation Move controller a wand. Yet the game is anything but magical. That's because there really isn't any game here at all. Instead, Book of Spells is a largely passive experience that has you doing the same rudimentary things throughout 5 two-part chapters. You'll learn how to pronounce one of 20 spells familiar from the novel, such as Wingardium Leviosa or Aguamenti, and then draw its symbol in the air with the Move controller.
Wingardium Leviosa!
Once you've followed the correct motion, you can test out the spell by flicking your wrist or holding a button on the controller. The majority of your time with this curious title is spent pointing your wand at glowing hotspots on each page and lifting up its superimposed text so it floats toward the top of the screen. The narrated passages offer some background information on the spell, while pointing in other spots can trigger pop-up dioramas that explain a spell's origin.
It's up to you.
After you've mastered implementing a spell's gesture and utility, you'll flip the page and practice a different spell. And after about 10 minutes of reading and wand waving, you'll finish the chapter, at which point you'll be given what amounts to a test to see how well you've remembered how and where to catch each cantrip. These test sequences are extremely short and painfully obvious, as you won't be able to advance past a scene unless you use a specific spell.
I could not be prouder that this simple school textbook is now being used in schools for magic all over the world.
While the trials seem to be building up to something truly wondrous, like being able to explore a castle, dungeon, tower, or similar fantasy setting so you can put into practice all you've learned, once you've completed the chapters, a process that takes about an hour and a half, the game is over. It's a giant build-up with no payoff, a promise of something that never comes. You're left with a book that can't be read, a game that isn't really played, and a sense of disappointment that can't be waved away by all the wands in Ollivander's shop.
Say the incantation aloud nice and clearly now. 3, 2, 1.